sometimes when you're programming, you want to keep repeating the same operation over and over and over again while some condition holds. So let's take a look at an example of how to do it using a while loop. So I'm going to have a mutable variable called x with initially a value of 1, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doubling this variable and printing out the results until the variable is greater than 1000. So I'm going to say that while this variable x is less than 1000, then I'm going to execute the following loop. So I'm going to delimit this with curly braces. I'm going to double the value x star equals 2, and then I'm going to print line the actual value. So I'm going to say x is equal to x. Let's run this. So now I have output of x from the value of 2 to the value of 1024. When x turns into 1024, we do the print line, but of course 1024 is not less than 1000, so this condition doesn't hold, and as a result we finish executing the body of the loop and go on to the next line, which is here. And this is the end of the actual function, so we just leave at this location. Now, what can I do inside this while loop? Well, one of the things I can do is I can, for example, decide not to print certain values of x. And I could put an if statement here to make sure that a particular value doesn't get printed, but there is a different way. What I can do is I can say, for example, that if x has the value of 64, then I'm going to continue. So the continue instruction, what it does is it resumes executing the loop for the next time without running everything that's after this. So if x is equal to 64, continue effectively takes the control flow back to the top of the loop and runs it again. So let's run this now. As you can see, we get pretty much the same printout, but we don't get the value of x equals 64, because at 64 we continue executing the loop starting from the beginning without doing the actual print line. That's why it's missing. Alright, so this is the while loop. It's fairly obvious. There is another version of the while loop, which is just loop. Now, loop is basically the equivalent of while true. It's kind of the kind of loop where it never stops unless you explicitly break out of it. So the question is, well, how do you break out of it exactly? Let's make another mutable variable called y with a value of 1. And what I'm going to do is, once again, I'm going to double the value here. I'm going to say y is multiplied by 2. And then I'm going to print line the value of y like this. Now let's suppose that I want to stop executing this infinite loop, because if I don't stop this loop, it's going to run virtually forever. If I put some condition, then I can break out of it. So I'm going to say that I'm going to keep printing out the value of y up until the moment when y becomes equal to 2 to the power of 10. So I can say if y is equal to 2 to the power of 10, that's how you write it, 1 shifted 10 places to the left, then what we can do is we can execute a break. Now a break completely boots you out of the loop that you're in, and it's similar for the while loop. If you put a break in here, that just jumps out of the loop and executes what comes after the loop. So let's run this. So as you can see, we also print out y from the value of 2 to the value of 1024. At the value 1024, this condition holds, so everything inside the if statement executes, and what we have inside the if statement is a break, and the break gets us out of the loop that we're in.